Autumn's Embrace, Chapter 11. The days stretched lazily into December, and Willow Creek, with its quaint streets lined with snow-dusted roofs, had fully embraced the holiday season. Wreaths hung on every door, twinkling lights framed windows, and the scent of fresh pine drifted through the air from the Christmas trees that adorned the town square. Despite the cold, there was a warmth to the town that seeped into every corner, a feeling that brought people together and shared joy in anticipation of the holidays. Elliot, standing on the porch of his farmhouse, felt that warmth too. His breath formed soft clouds in the chilly morning air as he watched the snow-covered fields in the distance. There was something calming about the way the world slowed down in winter, the way everything seemed to pause. It had given him time to think about his life here, about Lily, and the future that stretched ahead of him, full of possibilities he hadn't even begun to consider until now. The farmhouse was complete for the most part, with only a few small repairs left to finish, and that sense of accomplishment filled Elliot with quiet satisfaction. The house, once just a project, had become a home, and with it the future he was building in Willow Creek no longer seemed like a temporary escape, but a real and lasting choice. As he leaned against the porch railing, sipping his morning coffee, his thoughts drifted to Lily. Their relationship had deepened in the ways he hadn't expected, yet in ways that felt completely natural. She had become the person he looked forward to seeing the most, the one he could talk to about anything and everything, the one who made this small town life feel rich and full. He had never felt this way before, not in the city, not in his previous relationships. There was something about Lily, something about the way she made him feel at home in his own skin, that made him wonder if he had finally found the person he was meant to be with. The thought both excited and unnerved him. He wasn't the kind of man to rush into things, but the more time he spent with her, the more he found himself thinking about what their future might look like together. It wasn't just the big moments he imagined, holiday dinners, shared milestones, but the small, everyday moments too. Waking up beside her, cooking dinner together, sitting by the fire on a quiet evening. Those were the moments that had stuck with him, the ones that made him realize just how much she had come to mean to him. A soft knock on the front door pulled him from his thoughts, and Elliot turned to see Lily standing there, bundled up in her coat and scarf, a warm smile on her face. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold, and her eyes sparkled with the same kind of joy that always seemed to light up the room when she was near. "Morning," she said, stepping inside and brushing snow from her shoulders. "I hope I'm not too early." Elliot grinned, shaking his head. "Not at all. I was just enjoying the quiet." Lily smiled, slipping off her gloves and scarf. "It's beautiful out there, isn't it? The snow makes everything feel a little magical." "Yeah," Elliot agreed, his eyes lingering on her as she moved into the living room. "It does." They settled on the couch, the fire already crackling in the hearth, casting a warm glow over the room. For a moment they sat in comfortable silence, sipping their coffee and listening to the soft pop and crackle of the flames. It was moments like this that Elliot loved the most. The quiet, the stillness, the simple act of just being together. "I was thinking," Lily said after a while, breaking the silence, "that maybe we could go to the town Christmas tree lighting tonight. It's always one of my favorite events. The whole town gathers in the square, and there's caroling and hot cocoa. It's really special." Elliot smiled at the thought. He had seen the preparations for the event over the past few days, strings of lights going up, wreaths appearing on every door, and the large tree being brought into the square. It was clear that the Christmas tree lighting was a big deal in Willow Creek, and the idea of experiencing it with Lily felt like the perfect way to embrace the season. "I'd love to," he said, his voice soft. Lily's eyes lit up, and she leaned a little closer, her smile widening. "Good. It'll be fun, I promise." Elliot chuckled, reaching out to tuck a stray strand of her hair behind her ear. "I don't doubt that for a second." They spent the rest of the morning talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company, the conversation flowing easily as it always did between them. They talked about everything from the holiday traditions they each grew up with to what they hoped the next year might bring. And as they sat there, Wrapped in the warmth of the fire and the easy rhythm of their conversation, Elliot felt something shift inside him. A realization that this was the future he wanted. Not just the house, not just the town, but Lily too. By the time the afternoon rolled around, the sun had dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the snow-covered fields. The air had grown colder, the promise of a clear, starry night ahead, perfect for the Christmas tree lighting. As they bundled up in their coats and scarves, preparing to head into town, Elliot couldn't shake the sense of anticipation that buzzed under his skin. It wasn't just the excitement of the evening's event, though that was part of it. It was something deeper, a feeling that tonight would mark the beginning of something new, something important. The town square was already bustling with activity by the time they arrived, the large Christmas tree standing tall in the center, adorned with twinkling lights and colorful ornaments. Families and couples gathered around, sipping hot cocoa and chatting excitedly as they waited for the festivities to begin. Children ran through the snow, their laughter ringing out in the cold night air, and the scent of pine and cinnamon filled the air, adding to the festive atmosphere. Lily looped her arm through Elliot as they made their way through the crowd, her eyes bright with excitement. "Isn't it beautiful?" she asked, her voice full of wonder. Elliot nodded, taking in the sight of the glowing tree and the twinkling lights that framed the storefronts and houses surrounding the square. "It really is." They found a spot near the front, close enough to see the mayor step up onto the small stage set up near the base of the tree. The crowd quieted as the mayor gave a short speech about the importance of community and the joy of coming together during the holiday season. His words were warm and heartfelt, and as he spoke, Elliot found himself glancing down at Lily, his chest tightening with emotion. He had spent so much of his life chasing after success, after the next big thing, that he had forgotten what it felt like to be truly present, to appreciate the small moments of connection and love that made life meaningful. But standing here, with Lily by his side, surrounded by the warmth of the town and the beauty of the season, he realized that this was where he belonged. This was the life he wanted. As the mayor finished his speech, the crowd erupted into applause, and the switch was flipped, illuminating the Christmas tree in a dazzling display of light. The crowd gasped in awe, and Elliot felt a surge of warmth flood through him, not from the lights, but from the simple joy of being there in that moment with Lily. Lily turned to him, her eyes shimmering with emotion, and for a moment they simply stood there, taking in the beauty of the scene around them. It was as if the world had stopped, the noise of the crowd fading into the background, leaving only the two of them bathed in the soft glow of the Christmas lights. Elliot reached out, taking her hand in his, and in that moment he knew what he wanted to say. "Lily," he began, his voice quiet but steady, "I know we haven't been together long, and I know this might sound crazy, but I'm falling in love with you." Lily's eyes widened slightly, her breath catching in her throat, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she stepped closer, her hand tightening around his. "I feel the same way," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the soft hum of the crowd. Elliot's heart swelled with emotion, and without another word he pulled her into his arms, holding her close as the lights of the Christmas tree twinkled around them. It was a simple moment, but it was perfect, and as they stood there wrapped in each other's embrace, Elliot knew that this was just the beginning. He had found his home, not just in Willow Creek, but in Lily. And as the first flakes of snow began to fall, settling softly on their shoulders, Elliot smiled, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together. This was the start of forever. If you like this chapter, please leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and follow, and stay tuned for chapter 12 of Autumn's Embrace.